When you have villains that are this cruel...
Know what they say? Can't bake a pie without losing a dozen men.
It's only right that they get the nastiest of endings. So we're going to be looking at 6 Dreamwork villains who met their end in the most tragic of ways. The character in level 1 died in a way that didn't seem gruesome or make you flinch, but at level 6, you'll question if this type of death belongs in a children's animation. Starting off our list is someone who definitely deserved the tragic end he got, and I'm talking about Lord Shen from Kung Fu Panda 2, the firework-loving freak who really had a thing against pandas. I mean, this is a dude who didn't mind having baby pandas done away with just because he was scared that one of them would spell his doom.
I took away your parents. Everything.
But hey, in a movie about martial arts, destiny, and fate, nobody said it better than Master Oogway.
One often meets his destiny on the road he takes to avoid it.
So that means that in his desperate attempt to save himself, he was edging closer to the terrible fate that awaited him. And we see how things play out in the end. When Shen is defeated, Po does what any good guy would do: give the genocidal maniac a second chance.
The only thing that matters is what you choose to be now.
This goes just how you would expect. Shen thought he could pull a sneak attack on Po.
Then I choose this!
In the struggle, Shen accidentally cuts the ropes holding up the last cannon. It starts falling, and Shen doesn't make a run for it. The birdie doesn't even try to fly away. He looks up, sees his own creation about to crush him, and he just closes his eyes. He accepts it. I mean, what more could he do at that point? He finally realizes that his lifelong quest for greatness was just a very long, very expensive way to destroy himself. As far as symbols are concerned, there are a lot of visual metaphors here, starting with the fact that Shen is an albino peacock who has mostly white in his wardrobe. You may think it's because white goes well with his elite background and all, but in Asian cultures, white is the color of death and mourning. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. If Shen represented anything, it was progressing, a taste for the modern ways at the cost of tradition. If Shen had gotten his way and gunpowder and cannons had become the order of the day, there would have been no need for kung fu. If you watch his eyes right before the cannon hits, there's no fear. There's just a weird sense of relief. Death was the only thing that could finally stop him from obsessing over a past he couldn't change. It's tragic because Shen always had a choice, but you could make an argument that Shen didn't really get the exit he deserved. He should have suffered something more painful after everything he did. But at least this next character got something closer to what he deserved. Lord Shen had daddy issues and was a rebellious child. Jack Horner seemed to be the complete opposite of that. He literally had a loving home, a successful business, and more pies than any kid could dream of.
No, I never had much as a kid. Just loving parents, and stability in a mansion.
Yet he still grew up to be a magical item hoarding sociopath. I guess that's what happens when you suck so much at dancing that even a wooden boy bests you at talent shows.
No boy, no strings attached! What's impressive? I've been a boy the whole time!
But that is absolutely no excuse to turn into the big jerk that Jack Horner is. Now, let's break down his death because it's as chaotic as his personality. Jack spends the whole movie trying to get to the wishing star so he can wish for, get this, all the magic in the world. Jack really is as greedy as they come. No two ways about that. In the last act of the movie, he gets stuck in his magic bag. However, like any pie-loving menace, he ate his way out. Then he makes it to the center of the wishing star just as Puss and the gang realize they don't actually need the wish. They tear up the map, which triggers a total celestial meltdown of the star itself. As the star begins to collapse into a literal black hole of nothingness, Jack is still trying to force his wish through. Sadly, he just doesn't know when to quit. The ground disappears, the sky turns into a void, and Jack gets sucked into the center of the explosion. And as he's disappearing, he says this.
What did I do to deserve this?
Honestly, it's the perfect meta joke because the answer is everything. You did everything to deserve this, Jack. But in this anticlimactic tragedy of a death, there's a lesson here if you pay close attention. Jack was the only character who stayed as he was. Goldilocks and the bears finally got along, Puss learned his lesson, and Death stopped enjoying tormenting the little kitty. But Mr. Pie Man over here was still stuck in his ways right up till his doom. Sometimes life needs us to see things differently. Take a step back and see how our flaws need fixing. Being stubborn and self-centered would land you in a magical abyss, but doom comes in many ways, and Jack Horner got his, which ended his selfish quest. It would have been really nice to see what a kind-hearted adult Jack Horner would have seemed like, honestly. Let's talk about the original Emperor of Edgy, the boogeyman himself, Pitch Black. While Lord Shen was fueled by trauma and Jack Horner was fueled by pie, Pitch is fueled by the literal concept of fear.
There's only one thing missing. A touch of fear.
He's the guy under your bed, the shadow in the corner, and the reason you still haven't watched that one horror movie Alone. In Rise of the Guardians, Pitch isn't just trying to take over the world, he's trying to be seen.
Maybe I want what you have. To be believed in.
He spent centuries being invisible because nobody believed in him anymore, which honestly sounds like the plot of a very depressing indie movie. Before we look at his downfall, let's acknowledge how genuinely terrifying this guy was. He turned the Sandman's beautiful golden dreams into ink black nightmares. He's like that one guy who shows up to a birthday party just to tell all the kids that Santa isn't real. You know what else isn't real? His supposed death. Because the Guardians aren't exactly mortal creatures and they don't die by natural causes. All it took was for kids to grow a pair and literally face their fears.
You will fear me!
After the kids of the world stopped being afraid of him, Pitch practically became powerless. He wasn't this big, scary guy anymore, just a shadow of who he used to be. This made him take the logical action of running away. But that would have been too easy. His shadow horses start going after him, and this really is a full circle moment because he used to feast on the fear of others. Now look at him. The hunter now becoming the hunted, quite literally. As Pitch tries to run, his own creations turn on him. They swarm him and drag him screaming back down into the hole under the bed. It's the ultimate you are what you eat scenario. Because he built his entire existence on fear, the moment he felt it himself, his world literally ate him alive. Damn, talk about a taste of your own medicine. I have never seen karma work this hard before. Speaking of karma, where was she when this next villain needed a really painful end? We've got to talk about the man, myth, and midget himself, Lord Farquaad. In Dreamworks Villains Hall of Fame, he's kind of a big deal, because if he were anything less of a superstar villain, Shrek would never have gone on to be as big as it was. As far as evil goes, he was pretty evil. He didn't want to destroy the world, but he was doing something just as sinister. He wanted to play God a bit and make the world to be like that of his twisted imagination. And trust me, this never gets done in a nice way. He rounded up every magical creature, which was basically the soul of the kingdom, and dumped them in a swamp like they were literal trash. And let's not forget the iconic gingerbread man scene.
You're a monster!
The man tortured a cookie. To be honest, the quick and easy death he got felt really unfair and undeserving. I mean, this dude belonged in a dungeon somewhere. But the fact that it happened right during his big day makes up for this. I mean, there aren't many more tragic ways to die than the day of your wedding in front of your entire kingdom. But we still got 2 more characters to talk about, so you might be fighting tears from here on. Now, compared to genocidal peacocks or soul-sucking boogeymen, Humpty isn't exactly the most villainous villain on this list. He didn't want to conquer China or delete magic. He was just a guy, well, an egg, who felt betrayed by his best friend and decided to spend his entire life crafting a revenge plot that would make a soap opera writer blush.
This little adventure was about one thing. Revenge.
He spent years playing the long game, pretending to be Puss's friend while secretly planning to rob the Great Terror and frame Puss again. During the climax on the bridge, Puss is trying to save both Humpty and the golden goose baby from falling. Humpty realizes that Puss can't save both, and if he keeps holding on, the town is doomed. The tragedy in all this is how Humpty was just trying to make up for what he did to Puss all those years back.
I will not let you go, Humpty.
I know you won't, so I won't make you choose.
Yes, he was a jerk, but here was his chance to atone for his past, which he did. Sadly, he didn't survive to bask in his newfound heroism. But this tragedy does have a bit of a lighthearted turn. Inside his shell, he was a solid golden egg. It's a beautiful, if slightly on the nose, metaphor. Despite his bad egg exterior and all the rotten things he did, he was actually good deep down. He spent his whole life trying to steal the golden eggs, only to realize he was one. Last but certainly not least on our list of people who definitely didn't get invited to the village barbecue is Drago Bloodfist from How to Train Your Dragon 2. Most villains on this list have a bit of a misunderstood vibe, but Drago is just a straight up menace who decided that if he couldn't have an arm, nobody else could have their freedom. How evil was he? Well, he didn't just want to lead an army, he wanted to be a dragon god. He spent his life enslaving dragons and used a massive, mind-controlling bewilderbeast to force them into submission.
He who controls the Alpha controls them all.
However, the moment that solidified him as the absolute worst was when he forced Toothless, our sweet, gummy-loving Night Fury, to take out Stoic. That wasn't just a plot point, that was a targeted attack on our collective childhood. So you just know that if anybody deserves the most brutal of ways to go, it's this guy. And Dreamworks gave us a bit of satisfaction with his end. Toothless challenges the giant bewilderbeast, breaks its mental hold on the other dragons, and suddenly, Drago is standing on a very small piece of ice with a very large number of angry dragons looking at him. When his bewilderbeast finally retreats into the ocean, Drago is dragged down into the freezing, dark abyss along with it. He doesn't go out in a blaze of glory, he sinks into the cold silence of the sea, completely stripped of the power he was obsessed over. It would have been nice to see him get torn limb from limb, but that wouldn't be PG. Besides, when it comes to children's animations, dragons eat their food whole. They don't even leave limbs sticking out. Which of these villains made you a bit sad when you witnessed their deaths? And which studio's villains do you want us to do next? Let us know in the comments section, and if you liked this video, you can subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our uploads. And while you're at it, check out our other videos as well.